listen up. Okay, listen up. Okay, listen up. Okay, listen up. Okay, listen up. Okay.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes, Hubba Bubba Doopy Doop here. So this is an intro to everything that I have to weld with. This is an unboxing of everything that I've had to accumulate over some time because things cost money and I didn't win the lottery, you know, so it takes time to, you know, put things away. So that's flux core wire. .3 millimeter. Okay, so it's like Christmas, right? So I got a little you notice that everything comes in these Ziploc bags nowadays? You wonder why? Because of COVID. Everything you buy now has to be reasonably opened, and all your plastic bags have holes in them anyway, but that's to let the sterilization at the customs place, you know, to clean up everything. This is one of those welding caps. It's you don't want to wear a hat like mine with my channel logo on it. You don't want to wear this while you're welding. If spark was to hit on this, it would ember. It would burn. This is a flame retardant material that will not burn. It will protect the top of your head. Even if you have a helmet on, you want to wear something like that too, because it helps to absorb the sweat, you know. Here's some Lincoln what do we got here? Yeah. Where's the focus on that? I gotta learn this. I'm out here in daylight. See, there is no focus. It's just on. You know? It's weird. This is a brand new camera too. Well, anyway, so Lincoln Electric flame retardant welding sleeves. We call them gauntlets, and they go from your wrist up to your elbow. They have elastic at both ends. I used to have a couple pair of these when you go snowmobiling. You know, you put your gloves on and stuff, and then your jacket over this, and it keeps your, you know, because you're out there. You know, this is long, you know, 30-something years ago. But yeah, or get a pair of sweatpants, and you got elastic for the wrists, and up here, who cares? It's under your jacket. It's another layer of warmth, though. You know, when you're out playing all day. Old sweatpants, you know. You got a cord in the waist. Why throw all that away? But you don't want to wear sweatpants. That's the fleece when you're welding. You once again, just like the hat, you would go up into flames. Okay. This is flame retardant. That's why it says FR. It's got the logo on it. And Lincoln Electric. This is, you know, it's a decent name. You know, this isn't a fashion show. I'm not going to try them on. If you don't know what these are, just look them up. I could take them out of the package though. It doesn't matter. This is kind of an unboxing video. See, you just put your hand in there and you pull it up to your wrist. Then you put your glove on and now your arms are protected. I had to get these. I'm going to be under the car. I mean, I got to be protected. Even if you're just like a, you know, a weekend MIG welder, you know, you gotta protect yourself, your eyes and your clothing. If you're gonna weld something, it's thousands of degrees. I mean, and the little balls of hot metal you see flying off, well, those can be nearly 1,000 degrees. A piece of slag, oh my God. Okay, this, I don't want to reveal that yet. What is this here? You take the out of the package and it messes up the label. These are what's called welding magnets. They're meant to hold, you know, they come, big ones I've used before, really big ones to hold bolts and, you know, working on any kind of construction, you know, they're putting huge hardware together. Ever see those? You know, the nuts are like just, you know, that's, you know, a lot of that's welded underneath. Anyway, so the welding magnets, and it allows you to hold the metal while you're welding it. That way you don't get your hand down there. Hold the piece very accurately. You get 4 of them individually wrapped. I'll try to even keep the wrappers. That's just how I am. If I'm lucky enough to have new equipment, I'll try to keep it new, you know. So you get 4 of them. They don't need a case or anything. I don't need the box. I mean, that just takes up room, you know, if anything. At least the packaging is recyclable. This cardboard that they put things in. These are, oh yeah. It was really nasty earlier. I woke up 6 o'clock. Well, 5:30. I looked outside. I'm like, oh man. So I went back to bed and then I got up at 6 and looked outside and it was just dark and gloomy and like rain. I'm like, what the hell? And then right around noon, it's about 10 after 1 here right now. Right around noon, it began clearing. It's all blue sky and the sun's out, and it's like what the hell? Okay, this is a torch holder. I gotta put it together. Oh my God, it's got a nut and bolt. I gotta get my Milwaukee wrench that costs $1,000 to put this together. Oh, hold on. I gotta go to my $1 million dream apartment complex workshop. Jeez. Yeah, whatever. Meanwhile, I'm on Social Security reviving a car that was on its last leg. Yeah, just like me, right? I was on my last leg. Let's see here, which way do I want to put this? Yeah. You're not going to do it by hand. Something that NASA uses. It's a magnetic, I just gotta get a pair of pliers. My pliers are out at the car because I was using them. Oh, I'll make sure and tighten this up. But it's a magnet that you can put anywhere. Just hold your torch, MIG, TIG, whatever. If you want to put it onto a bench or whatever, and then lay it here like that, or you could hook it in like this. That way it won't go anywhere. You can hang your torch up if you're under a metal place or a wall or something. It's just convenient. Because I'll be all over the place. And here comes another piece of a mobile welding. Okay. What my ground lead is, I have another one, extra one anyway, but the one that's on here, it just has a regular clamp, Well, you get this little kit here, and what this is, you put your lug on your wire, you can crimp this on however you want to do it, and then now you have another magnet, right? You have a magnet with a fiber board. It's very, very hard. I mean, you're not going to break that. It's like steel practically, but it won't. This is like what a part of your points and condenser ignition is made out of. This fiber board. BAYTORY, BAYTORY is the name on it. BAYTORY. It's just a decal. Anyway, it's got a powerful magnet right here with like a pivot, and it's all locked down. You don't have to tighten it up. And this is a copper with a point on it. Okay. And what you do is you put this, where you're going to weld. You put this onto your metal, okay, and then you run this down. You got a jam nut here. You run this down until it hits the metal really, really hard and actually contacts the metal, and then you tighten up your jam nut and then put your ground on there. Or if you take this nut off and you put your ground in between the two washers they give you, and that's a beautiful connection. You tighten that down, and now you just have a nice point clamped wherever you want to clamp, and it's a magnetic ground. And then you got your magnetic torch holder, and you're just sitting there going wherever you got to go. You don't have to worry about, hey, do I got some place to clamp onto? Oh, I'm going to clamp way over here and make all of that impedance have to travel. That's just ridiculous if you know anything about electricity. You don't clamp your ground a mile away from where you're welding. It's not going to work very well. Stress the hell out of the machine. Oh yeah, it's welding just fine. Yeah, sure. As it sits there and melts itself to death. All that little, you get these welding machines. All that knows the thermocouple says, "Oh, I'm at this temperature now," and turns on the fan. It doesn't know any better. So we got extra wire, got some new tin snips, okay, magnets. Trying to keep track of this. I do not want this to blow around in the wind. We have gusts of wind that's, like easily 25 miles an hour today. It'll blow this garbage right out into the highway. Okay. This is a 5mm panel flanging and punch tool. Okay. Now what this means is a panel tool. You go to the edge and you use this to make a flange. That's a part that's kind of curved up, an edge, and you make the flange, which is 5 millimeters, so it's nice and consistent. Imagine having a tiny metal break. That's what this is. You make the flange, and then you turn the head around, and you punch the holes, and it'll punch holes 1 millimeter thickness. And it's for spot welding, or what they call plug welding. You make your little holes along that edge wherever you want, and then you put the magnets on there, and it's not a butt weld. This is what's called a lap weld, where you're taking one piece of metal and putting it on top of the other. And then this is what you're welding to. I'm not going to butt weld. You see a lot of people do, where you take your you cut the bad off, and then you match up whatever, and then you run your bead, one little bead here, and then cool it off and hope it doesn't warp and all that, blah blah blah, and then grind it down. No, I'm going to do what's called lap welding, where you take the piece, put it over. Your piece already has a flange in it, means that it's recessed down like this, okay, and it's got holes in it, and you zap the holes, and seam sealer, and just like how the car makers do it. There's no reason to sit there and stitch weld the damn car together. That's not even how the frame is made. All that welding actually weakens the metal too, especially sheet metal. What do you think you got to cool it off for? And you can't do it here, and you can't, you got to do it here, and then do it here, and then let it cool, because that warping, it starts tempering the metal. It gets all brittle. The first place to rust is a weld. Why? Because the temper of the metal has been changed. So here's your panel flanging tool. Okay, so you turn this head around depending on which tool you want to use. Here's your flanger, and you notice, see how that moves? Okay, and you notice that kind of, it's like an S almost. Okay, you put your metal in there, and then you go like this, and you get a lot of leverage. I mean, like a little kid could do that. As you do that, it crimps a nice edge into it. Then you move it over, you do it some more, wherever you need to. Okay? You can even do the inside of your hole. Not the metal you're going to weld to. Do the inside of your hole. That's another way. Then, after you get it flanged, you turn this head around, and it's very, very easy. It's not even notched or anything. It's held on with a nice Allen head cap screw. Anyway, you turn this around, and now when you push this, you have a hole punch, a 1 millimeter hole punch. And it's, if you want to do it one at a time, or if you want to flange it all and then punch the holes wherever you want it. Okay, now like you could do it to you're always going to have parent metal and then child metal. If you take your piece of child metal, your sheet metal, and you flange it and punch the holes, okay, that's going to be above and more noticeable. If you really want to hide it, you flange and punch holes on your parent metal, and then take your child metal and put it down in there, and now it's almost level, and you just that's what's nice about this flange tool. It's consistent. You're not doing it. I have flange pliers that it's like a miniature metal brake, but it's just pliers, and they're kind of flat and wide, and you can bend metal down, yeah, but that's not consistent. This is just put it in there, boom, boom, boom. It's like a machine, and that's what the beauty of a tool like that is. And this is a AZZUNO Inverter MIG welder. As you watch a box defeat a grown man. Yeah, there we go. I couldn't get my freaking hands on it. Oh. And like I always do, I put a few goodies in the box when it came. You know, I knew that I had already packed enough in the box when it came, so I just I didn't have any more room. So here's some more tips for MIG welding. Get a little bag of tips. There's 30 pieces. Okay, and here's another little secret. Nozzle gel. You dip your nozzle in there, and it's because this is flux core wire. Your flux, when it heats up, it vaporizes, and it makes a little rarefied atmosphere around the arc, so it keeps out dust and oxygen and everything else. That way it doesn't rust and get all messed up and everything. You put a little bit of nozzle gel on the end of your nozzle every now and then as you're welding, and it keeps all that mess off of your torch tip. This isn't for TIG welding, this is for MIG welding, and it's not for arc welding either. It's only for MIG welding, and you really wouldn't need it if you were using a gas. You know, MIG is an acronym, metal inert gas. So you have your metal, that's the wire. Inert gas has to be the shielding gas around the arc to keep everything clean. The first thing that wants to attack it is oxygen. Oxidizes it and rusts it immediately. Well, you got to keep all that away. And that's what flux does. Now the wire flux leaves a coating behind. You got to chip off, and it's just like arc welding with a rod. That powder on the outside that's baked onto the wire of the welding rod, that's flux. When it heats up, you know, thousands of degrees, it vaporizes into a gas, and that's your shielding gas. Now, like you can use argon, carbon dioxide. The original nicest machines that I ever made were made by a company called Allyearauto, and they were used helium, which works perfectly with that kind of TIG welding. And it's like a TIG MIG, but Allyearauto, that was a big company when I was a little kid, and my father was involved in part of it. I'm not sure what he did, but I know he worked there when I was like a little toddler, you know. That's all I know, and I remember having a poster in my room of a Allyearauto machine, you know. This is, you know, 60s, you know. And so I've always liked that kind of welding. Here's some extra flux core tips. So now, if this isn't the nozzle, it's not what's called a gas lens or whatever. It's not your nozzle. This you take that off. This goes over the torch tip. This is where the wire comes out, and it helps to protect. Where'd they go? These metal tips. If you just leave that hanging out like that, you're gonna get flux all over it, little metal BBs all over it. It's going to clog up, and you got to change it and blah, blah, blah. You put one of these over the end of your torch, even if you have gas, and it just keeps your tips clean. And they're really, really cheap, you know, but they're really, really hard plastic, and they clip onto the end of your torch, and it just really, really helps. Every little thing helps. And then here's those metal brake pliers, what I was talking about. And then I'll get to the welder. I think I can use this as my table. I really didn't. I just tore the one edge of it open. Maybe. Maybe not. So here's a thank you card. Valued customer. Sumex tools. And just a little packing slip maybe. What is this? Yeah. Oh, how to unlock and lock correctly. Never go down or off to the edge. I guess they got to tell people how to close a pair of pliers. I don't know. Is there a wrong way? Wow. So who's going to be using these? Hurricane. That's the name on the box. Hurricane 3-inch hand seamer. Okay. Otherwise known as metal brake pliers. Oh, it's just telling you to never leave it unlocked like that or whatever. This is how you lock it. It just hits right on the edge of the bolt there, and that's all it takes, you know, because they come spring open. See? And what you do is you just put there's a lot of clamping force. I mean, you could crush something very easily, but you put your metal in there and it kind of adjusts if the metal's thicker or whatever, but as it gets down, and then that allows you to bend a 3-inch area as much as you want. And then you move on to the next one. Okay? And then if you want, you can bend it more with these or just with those, wherever you got to do, punch your holes, whatever, you know. But this is a great thing to have if you have to bend any kind of sheet metal. You're not doing it by hand. And a big, huge metal brake where, you know, I'm not bending huge panels of metal. Is this good enough for? Yeah. It's good enough to hold all the garbage. I'm not putting this back in the box. That's for sure. I'm tired of looking at the damn box. Let's see. I could keep the Ziploc bag. No, this is not meant to go over your helmet or something like that. This is go over your head. It's got a nice mesh in it. Okay? And you usually put this on the back of your neck. Unless you're wearing a they have gowns with hoods and whatever and all that, but you don't want this in the front because you couldn't look out of it. You know, it's a little bit of elastic, one size fits all basically. Made in China. If you ever have to wash it, I really don't recommend it because it's been treated with a chemical that makes it not burn. It's a flame retardant. It's not flame proof. And if you wash this a couple of times, it might wash that flame retardant out. So if this gets to the point where it's just, not wearable no more, throw it out and buy a new one. What can I say? If you've ever done any kind of welding, if you're, if you get burned by slag, or if you're, it's kind of weird if if you're cutting, it's called dross, and if you're welding, it's called slag. Here's what I was talking about in my last video. We were joking about get a couple of these and make a Corvette trunk, a Corvette hood, whatever. So what you do is you can hang this on the wall in your shop. Every house ought to have one, actually. They're pretty cheap. It's like I don't know, $15 maybe. And fire blanket. You hang it on the wall by this nice brass grommet. And you can run over, it's brightly red. You rip this down to get it open. It pulls right, it's got Velcro. It pulls right out. What this is a nice big blanket. This is 1 meter by 1 meter. 1.2 by 1.2, 1.5 meter, And it's just after use, if they want you to throw it away, this dumb. 100% glass fabric, and it's just a 1 meter by 1 meter blanket, and you put it around anything you want to protect. If you don't want it to burn, So that goes in the kit. I'll keep this Ziploc bag to put the cap in. Okay. This is a little known witch's brew thing when you're MIG welding. Even though, like with your machine but they say, make sure the ground is your stinger and the hot is where the ground was to minimize the spattering and all that. Okay, well, they do have an aerosol that you can buy that sprays down. Nozzle gel works pretty good too if you just take a little bit on your finger and wipe the area down because it washes off. The thing is though, if you got like a lot of spatter, the MIG welding causes, and you don't want it glued to the metal, just end dust. Not pledge or any kind of lemon oil or anything like that. End dust. This is the only thing I recommend. Nobody's paying me or nothing like that. But this is, lemon zest odor or whatever. But there's no oils or anything like that. It's mostly silicone. And what I mean is, like, where you're going to weld, where you, not right on where you're welding, but just the area you want to protect it and just go bzzz. Okay? Just spray down just like that. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is, if anything hits it, it just falls off. You don't have to coat it. You don't have to paint the surface or nothing like that. You don't have to do it till it's running all over the place. There's no sense in that. And if you want to, it wipes off easy before painting or something like that. You want to clean your area before you paint anyway, right after you weld, if anything's on there. But what I'm saying is this just keeps down the, if you're ever going to need it. But use it sparingly, just like the nozzle gel. Don't make a mess with it. You can very easily make a mess with it. Oh, you gotta keep it clean. Yeah, right. I've had gloves before that you couldn't even, it's like, where the hell are they? Oh, this, the color of the ground. How are we doing here? "13 minutes. Alrighty. Okay, so this is a, I'm gonna get this name right. AZZUNO, AZZUNO, registered trademark. I don't know. Inverter welder. Yeah, I use some flanging pliers to open up the box. How's that? What's nice about Flux core too, outside welding, if it's windy or whatever, it don't matter. Okay, they give you 2 little tips and the hardware for holding a roll of wire. Here's your ground, which I'll end up taking this off. If I want to reuse this, just use the other side because it's crimped. But, you know, that's just a whatever crimp right there. It's not a bad cable. And that's what's nice too, you know, that magnetic ground. You don't have to worry, hey, where am I going to clip a ground to? There's the torch stinger, we call it, if you want to call it that. It's got a little built-in hook. Everything's tight. Here's your nozzle that you put the nozzle cover over, or you can take the, you pull that back. Here's your nozzle, we call this, okay, because it helps to, if you're running gas, and there's holes right here, if you're running gas, it some guys call it a gas lens, because it's where you're concentrating your gas at, you know. But I'm not going to use this metal one. I got the thermoplastic one you put over this, and then the torch cover, the tip cover. If you just use this, you know, it's gonna get all clogged and spatter and birds nest inside the machine when it clogs up. So that's why I get those little things to adjust the whole thing, you know, little added things that I know I'm gonna need. I've never had a new welder in my life. I've always used other people's equipment or a place where I worked or something like that, you know. And they never had this kind of technology back then. inverter. I mean, this little thing's a 110. Okay, comes with gloves. Decent enough for what I'm doing. I mean, they're, you know, who cares if they get burned up? This is exactly the new glasses in that box. That's exactly what I need right here. You bend this down and it makes a cover that you hold in one hand. Okay, because I got one hand for this and one hand for the torch. Zap, 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 zap. I don't have to hold anything. It's all magnet and stuff like that. If I'm under the car, I can't be flipping a helmet, big helmet hitting on the underside of the car and all that. I mean, you just hold this and zap, 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 you know. Auto darkening welding helmet. Oh, for, you know, $50. Yeah. Okay. Under the car, I don't think you're going to have any room under the car. It comes with its own roll of wire. So I got 2 rolls of wire. Here's a little chip hammer wire brush that they give you for cleaning the flux or whatever and chipping away something. It doesn't have a point on it. It's flat. And that's nice. You don't want to make a bunch of points all over your welding. I've actually seen guys that take a chipping hammer and they make a point on the end of it. What the hell are you doing that for? You're dimpling your weld. If it doesn't knock off like a glass anyway, something's wrong. So here's your 110. Here's the inside. It tells you how to spool it up, how to feed the wire. It's got 2 different choices, 1.0 millimeter and 0.8 millimeter. And you just switch the little holder around. And the whole thing, it's got a handle. Here's where your torch goes. Let me see if this is interchangeable. It's got a gland on it. I wanted to see if this was one of the ones that you have to change the ground over. I was hoping to not have to with this. We'll see how it works, because I don't want to have to change the guts of it, you know what I mean? Not for this YouTube channel. Oh, it doesn't spatter that much, or what? I mean, please. If it welds the metal together, who cares? I'm not trying to impress anybody except myself, and that's not hard. So here's a MIG 130F. You push the choose button and it chooses whatever you need. Wire, voltage, it's very easy. And the directions are pretty decent. I looked at them online before. This was it's like 100 something with everything. All the extra crap I bought, it's about $200 around. You know, this kind of market goes up and down now and then, but so it's a nice little handheld 110. Okay. I was kind of hoping that you could take the. That's one thing about a MIG welder. you really can't take the torch off because you have a liner that holds the wire, and then you have the electricity part wire, you know, and everything. So there are machines where that just plugs in, and a lot of times the pins don't line up right, and it can cause problems. The liners always get frayed on the end, and you can't put the damn wire through it. I like how that's, I'm not trying to stick up for something or whatever. I like how that's made onto the machine. It's not just something you just unplug. I don't have any reason to unplug that. The ground maybe, yeah. But the rest of it, no. And now here's the last thing. The prices of these is like crazy. When I bought this, it was almost $50. I don't know why. I guess I don't know, supply and demand. A lot of people want whatever. This is just a WORX. It's a tool maker on Amazon. It's like a mid-level power tool maker. But I got a nice big tool bag. Nice big tool bag. And you know, you go online, you get the measurements and all that. Oh, how big is this? How big is that? So you open it up. I don't want to crimp this. You know, the actual power cable just fits in your hand. But like this, there you go. That fits right in the bag. And you can coil this up carefully, so you're not kinking it. You gotta be very, very careful you don't kink those. Here's your ground wire, your brush, gloves, extra roll of wire. Got pockets in here too. Your pliers. I'll put those over here maybe. I gotta make up the shield. Here's the nozzle gel. Put that over there. Put your pliers over here. I'll even put those in a plastic bag. That way they don't scratch the hell out of everything around them. Wire cutters. Okay, so here's another plastic bag I can put shit in. The ground, nozzle tips, nozzles, another roll of wire, gauntlets, can of end dust, a hat, magnets, magnetic torch holder. Okay, that goes right there. There's your fire blanket. I gotta make up the mask. There's your directions. I'll make up the mask and just lay it in there. And it's all plastic, you can't really hurt it. I mean, you leave the, you can hurt it to a point, but you don't want to drive over it. Hopefully not. You got these guys with these freaking helmets for hundreds of dollars, you know, auto darkening, and it's got their name on it and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, they're worth a lot of money, shit. Something like this, though, no. Here's the user's manual. This is probably the glasses. They give you a few. Or do they give you one? How many do they give you? How many do they give you? They don't give you anything. You gotta buy it. No, that's actual glass, but it's filthy though. But that's actual, like you look at the Eclipse. I'll give you a little view of that here. See? And that's what you do if you want to put it over the. I'd have to get a. What do you call it? Put over the lens while I'm making a video, if I ever want to do that. But that's all it is, to protect your camera, you know. This is like my early Christmas. I wasn't going to really do any welding until next year, but circumstances have changed, so I had to get this work done to make the car movable. And because of the new parking lot, you know, when they're going to be plowing it, I can't have a non-movable car there like I have for the past 8 years. So now it has to be mobile and moving, and that means working on it. And that's what these videos are. So let's see here. Yeah, I have to clean this first a little bit. Oof. Got a bunch of fingerprints. You could ID the ID the person that made it. You gotta be careful you don't push too hard, you can break it. Doesn't have to be 100% clean, and if you push on it too hard, you could break it. Or if you drop it or some shit. But you just drop it in there, I think, yeah. Overcome these little clips. You can be careful you don't cut yourself either. There's not really bad edges, but there's a little bit of edge on there. And just make sure it's clipped down into the recess that it has to fit into, like that. Okay. You take your handle, and that just goes, let's see, that goes in the, yeah, there's a little locating dowel right there, and there's a hole right there. It only goes in one way. And then you slide that up all the way and push that little clip in. And that's good enough for what I got to do. I see, did I put this on? No? I didn't put it on backwards. You would think the curved part would be towards your hand, though. You could probably weld behind this little thing here, though. I wouldn't recommend that, though. I'm just going to see, though, you know. But yeah, you hold on to it like this. You would think the handle would be curved around your hand, but this isn't. It's ergonomically weird to me. Anyway, and okay. You don't even have to clip this handle on. That way it doesn't break. Kind of nervous about putting this in here, but it's not going to. And let's save the bag. And you gather this. It's always a joy the first time with these bags like this. And you just gather it together as you zipper it. Don't use the zipper as the gather. You want to hold on to the edge as much as you can, and then just use the zipper to keep it together. Because if you try to use the zipper to actually draw it together, you're just going to break it. And there you go. Yeah, it's just plastic zipper, you know. But here's your entire welding apparatus in a bag. There's even pockets. I don't know what you would want to put there, maybe, but and it's all well, out of the weather. heavy duty nylon. It's got a nice hard bottom on it. And what's nice about one of these things is flexible, you know, it's not like rigid. Are you going to be able to fit your big welder and welding helmet and all kinds of bullshit? I could even fit a couple more. I got 2 spools of wire. If I need some more grounding wire, which shouldn't be long anyway, but you know, this is portable. But you know, the whole thing is under 50 pounds for everything. And there's pockets all over the place to hold things. That one pocket with Velcro. As you use this more, it'll become accustomed to always, you know, just close it by hand and use the zipper to keep it closed. See how I'm holding it together first and then zip it? You never want to try to go like this because that just wears the zipper out. And it won't take long, believe me. But there you go. There's your welding apparatus. And now, like another part of this, I have a cart that I have a they don't even make them anymore, I guess, but there's a Harbor Freight. It's called a tailgater, a little 2-cycle generator. You put that, a 2-cycle generator, plug this into it because this is an inverter. Okay, you could run it off that tailgater. Now, which means you can have 100% of that little tailgater's got a handle on it, and you get this. You got 100% mobile welding outfit. You can go weld out in the woods if you wanted to. You got a generator. You can put this in the trunk of your car. You know, mobile welding service. It's a $200 investment and then a little generator because it's an inverter. You don't need a big ass, you know, $1,000 Predator generator and a Lincoln welder. You know, the whole thing. Oh, I need the $100,000 truck to mount it to. Oh, please. And then mobile welding. You know how much you can make mobile welding? Advertise on Craigslist, which is free. You know, just put mobile welding service. Boom. Throw in your number, a Gmail. You could charge $20 an hour. Quick, undermine everybody. In and out. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, folks. Bye bye.
Hasta la vista.